Sharpening is a fundamental part of post-production. The word is related to a technique called unsharp mask, which enhances the apparent sharpness of an image. In general, the word sharpness is somewhat ambiguous, because this technique can influence the finest details as well as larger areas. In the latter case, we should speak of enhanced shape rather than sharpness. Photoshop offers a few native alternatives for sharpening, but the Volume tab of the MindTheColor panel brings significant advantages. The relevant section of the panel is the one on the right. We've seen the left section in action in the example about shadows and highlights, and now we'll have a look at the other. First of all, there are three algorithms available which can be chosen from this menu. The first, ALG1, works on light areas. The second, ALG2, on dark areas. The third one is particularly interesting. ALG3 differs from the traditional approach. It divides an image in areas of a given size and can produce excellent results. At the bottom, you may find some presets if you want to quickly check how this section works. The preset called Pres1 uses the first algorithm and works specifically on highlights, while Pres2 addresses shadows through the second algorithm. If you click on Pres1, you will notice that a new layer is created. The layer name contains all the relevant parameters in order. You can see that the first algorithm was used, that the amount is 20, the radius is 290, and the threshold 0. The meaning of these parameters is simple. Amount controls the intensity of the effect. Radius controls the width of the halos used to create the illusion of more sharpness or shape. Threshold can be useful to limit the effect in smooth areas where only slight transitions occur in the image. One thing you shouldn't do is apply a second sharpening to an image already sharpened. Let's make an example. Here we have a background layer and the layer created via the Pres1 on top. In case you want to see how Pres2 works, you should first turn off the visibility of the second layer so that the effect is applied to the original image. Let's now create another layer via Pres2. Since all layers are created in luminosity blend mode at 100% opacity, the color of the original image is preserved. Let's compare the original image to the first we created. You can see that the subject looks more three-dimensional and somewhat lighter. Now, let's turn this layer off and compare the original to the second. It still looks more three-dimensional, but a bit darker. Also, you may have noticed that the effect in the first case seems stronger. This is related to the fact that we perceive the enhancement in light areas more than those in dark areas. We usually like to have a blend of both effects, and a possible starting point is this. Use the light one at roughly 50%. A quick way to do this is to bring the first layer on top and reduce its opacity by 50% also. In this case, we have the dark layer at 100% and the light layer working at half intensity. The rule of thumb is easily remembered. When the sharpening radius is small, you may push the amount very far. On the contrary, when the radius is large, you have to be conservative with the amount slider, otherwise it will ruin your image. The sharpening radius defines the width of the areas affected by sharpening. If we reset the plugin and push the amount to the maximum, when we set a radius of 1 pixel, we may notice more apparent detail in the image. If we go further, we will notice larger halos, which at a point destroy the detail. Let's try a radius of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, 100 pixels. The behavior is clear, I think. If we now reduce the amount to, say, 50, the effect is far less pronounced. By toggling the visibility of the processed layer, we may notice the enhanced shape and three-dimensional look of the subject. And of course, remember you have the opacity slider in case you want to reduce the effect further. Finally, the preset menu contains different presets that can be saved by pushing the plus button. 2 are there by default, and here's another one I made using Algorithm 3. Once the preset is selected, you just need to hit Run to apply it. I quite like the effect of Algorithm 3, but make sure you don't push it too far because it may give your images an unpleasant HDR look. So, we've reached the end of this tutorial, which shows just a few of the things you can do with the amazing plugin MindTheColor. If you have any question, doubt, or simply would like to comment, you can reach us by email at the address written below. We'll be glad to hear from you and receive your appreciation or criticism. In the meantime, thanks for watching. We will reach you soon with some other video.